What's going on, boys? My name is Sid, and yes, I'm here in just sort of like any old touring car, you know. I'm in some like casual touring car. I feel like a casual using this thing because it's not an amazingly good touring car. It's just sort of here. But I want to get a feel for an average touring car before we go into the best, which is the R.S.0.1 and the brand new handling model. See, the Elite Bundle 10 wasn't just what it was. It was a lot more than what it seemed, is what I'm trying to say. Because in the Elite Bundle 10, we also got the CCGT along with the other two vehicles, but the CCGT actually featured brand new handling first ever in this game. And I'm going to be trying that and giving you boys, again, like I did before, a full comparison of the two. So let's hop into the Renault R.S.0.1 first, and let's get a good feel for this thing. Let's feel how fun this thing is around a track here. It's getting very late right now. And I believe, I recognize this from an Alpha GP track, in all honesty, but I know parts of this are a touring car race as well. I'm probably not going to cut as much. There'll probably be less editing as far as the driving goes. I want to get to the bit with the actual turns. We're just in like a straight area. And see, you'll notice with the R.S.0.1, it seems, I don't know, it's a really good touring car. And I love how this looks. I love that view for this car. But it's fast. But it's a tad uncontrollable. It's such a satisfying car to use. But it's a bit hard to do so. But I don't know what we're actually looking for with the new Koenigsegg. Because the Koenigsegg CCGT actually has, obviously, the brand new handling model. But another thing about it is I already tried it. And I didn't even know it had that new handling model when I did try it. We're going to go around this area. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to wall ride. That seems okay. It spins out a little bit, but we've retained a fair bit of speed. Okay, not too bad. And a bit wide, but not too bad at all. Yeah, I already tried the CCGT, and I didn't actually know it had a new handling model. But yes, apparently it did. So we're going to be going into it right now, and then obviously we're going to be doing a direct comparison where I voice over it. But the voiceover will be after I've done filming. Oh, while I'm here, I can check if I can change nitro. I didn't even do that in my video, even though I was wondering why I didn't have a nitro. You can, I just didn't put on a nitro for some reason. Okay, it's dark, it's nighttime, but I am going to be trying this out. We're going to take a left here so we actually go straight into the track area. It's a lot more stiff. Okay, I feel like I need to brake so much more for that. I should have turned there. Okay, I need to brake a lot more. But it feels a lot more uniform, if you get what I mean. Okay, can I finish being flashbanged? How do I describe it? It feels a lot more, I want to say like a sim racer? I don't know. Again, it feels a lot more, I don't know if I like it. A lot more by the books. You know, it's a much more stiff handling, but it makes me feel, okay. Because of that, it understeers a bit more, but it makes me feel like I need to brake more as well. Which, one thing about the Renault is it's so flip-floppy, like it will go on two wheels, that you can get away with just like taking the sharpest of sharp turns. Oh, it is satisfying for turns like that though. Okay, ow. Both of these are with what's it called, full maxed out set parts. Sorry, I don't have nitro sorry, I don't have pro settings on this thing. I love it. I kind of am loving its turning circle. It feels more like a touring car, I'd say, I guess. Instead of the Renault, which just feels like a hyperactive something. But I think that means that it's not going to be as good as something like the Renault. Because it's a lot more like a serious by-the-books racer. But I kind of prefer this. I wouldn't hate if every touring car had this handling model, to be honest. Obviously, we're going to be doing the direct comparison, so we shall see, but I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I guess we're going to see this turn here as well. Kind of the same understeer, but I just sort of, I mean, I had to lay off throttle even more there. One thing is, yeah, you just gotta lay off the throttle more. And I assume this is only one vehicle with this handling model. So obviously, you know, it's not like this is how every single vehicle is gonna be with this handling model, because in the Crew 2, all vehicles are individually handling modeled. So we're not looking at the be-all, end-all. We're just looking at one example. And this one example is kind of okay. We're going to take it into probably 3, maybe 2. We'll probably take it into 2 touring car races. And then I will... obviously, the voiceover will be while I'm editing. But then I will come back to you and talk about it once the comparison is over. So let's go into the comparison. Right, so how this is going to work. On the left is our Renault R.S.0.1, the current best touring car. On the right is going to be our Koenigsegg CCR. But what you're seeing on screen right now is how terrible the CCR is without pro settings. Both my cars will have the best settings I can find on them, which I will just be using Accords settings. But the thing is, without pro settings, I was struggling here. You can see I was behind Scott the entire race and almost lost to him until the very end. But once pro settings were on this vehicle, it was a completely different story. And here we are, and first things first is the one on the right, the Koenigsegg. I'm on Ace on the Koenigsegg. I'm not on Ace in the Renault. It does get slightly brighter later into this Renault race, but yes, I'll be in traffic for a bit longer with the Koenigsegg, but I don't think that affected much in the grand scheme of things, because I was still very novice-y with this handling. And the general main thing with this handling seems to be more of a steering thing. The steering is changed in a way where I believe the linearity curves or the lack of curves and linearity is altered in a way. But comparing just the handling of the two vehicles, this is a terrible run for the Koenigsegg, by the way. But what the consensus seems to come to for me, and you may notice this, you may not notice it because of this whole my gameplay at the time, but you'll notice I drift through a lot more of the turns with the Renault. You may notice that I slide through a lot more of the turns. I'm ramming into a lot more of the walls. But yet, even though that's the case, I'm still pelting it through and losing way less speed than I'm forced to with the Koenigsegg, because the Koenigsegg, although refusing to drift, it refuses to slide like the Renault does. That causes me to have to brake a lot more. Where the Renault can be seen as, you know, more uncontrollable because of that, it causes it to actually be a faster car, where the Koenigsegg, although being more by the books and more like an actual touring racer, it finds itself being a lot more slow because of that fact. Now, this does end up changing later in my second run, where the tables turn by a fair bit, but that's through multiple of different things that contribute to it. For this run, I just really love this track for the turns in it. I like the big sweeping turns like the ones right here. And you can see that with the Renault, I take much sharper, more like basically not braking at all runs through those kind of turns, where with the Koenigsegg, I take a much more racing line. I go in tight, I get to the apex, I slow down, and I speed out on the second turn of the two-turn hairpin, I suppose. But like I said, you can see that I'm in an absolute mess half the time with the Renault, yet I still find myself being much, much quicker. But you would look at both the runs, and honestly, I feel that the Koenigsegg looks a lot more sophisticated. Let me know what you think. A lot of sliding from the Renault. And may I just say, these are two very gorgeous cars. And there we go. quite the difference, 4-second difference between the two runs. This is halved now for this run, as the Koenigsegg only finishes 2 seconds behind. However, there's a lot going on in this one. I become way more used to the handling of the Koenigsegg, and I just had a terrible run with the Renault, not to mention the fact it was raining the entire run, which definitely bogged my whole run down by quite a bit. But again, the same things sort of remain, where you can see I go around a turn, and I'm able to sort of speed out of a turn a lot nicer. But although I'm speeding out of turns a lot nicer, I'm also sliding to do so a lot of the time. Where the Koenigsegg, I'll actually be slowing down for a turn, and you can hear me slowing down for most turns. Where you can see, like that turn that just went, the Renault, I just sort of breezed through. Where the Koenigsegg, it was a lot more sophisticated. And here, that backfires on the Renault as I spin out after the wall ride, where the Koenigsegg had a lot more control after the wall ride. Where I feel like for perhaps newer players, or players more looking for a, sophisticated racer, they may prefer the Koenigsegg. But for those who are looking for the best car in the touring car spec, I think they're still going to be going for the Renault. And I think if this handling model, or, steering changes, were to be brought to the whole of the touring spec, I think I'm not technical enough of a driver to know what that would change, realistically. Whether that would cause the Renault to be overshadowed by a different car, or whether any new cars with this newer steering model would really change much. Again, bear in mind, I'm talking right now about 2 to 3 days after this footage was made. So a lot of my initial reactions will be after this section that you're about to see, back from filming Sid instead of editing Sid. So, those will be more right there and then reactions, and hopefully I say the things I meant to say, and I don't forget things that I reference me saying in this next section that I didn't end up saying. I don't know, it could be a whole mess. But you know what, I guess you boys can go and do that. Remember to subscribe and leave a like and whatnot. And let me know what you think of the handling style of the Koenigsegg compared to other vehicles in the touring car spec. And yes, let's get to it. Honestly, when I tell you that I kind of just want to, drive this thing now, I really like this handling. See, so, like I said, maybe I said, I don't know, because me and editing will be saying it, but originally I was very unsure about the handling, and I did one run in the first race that I played, and it turned out pretty subpar. It was a bad run. I almost lost to Scott in first, but then I added pro settings, and it took me a minute. First I thought, oh, so this thing is actually irredeemable with the pro settings, because I couldn't do anything. And then I sort of got used to it, and okay, I'm hitting walls, so it's a bad example, and okay. But now I've sort of gotten used to it. I just really like how this thing handles. It's like the opposite of the R.S.0.1. The R.S.0.1 will spin out. It will basically mini spin out, and it will slide around a turn. But it will do it so quickly. This thing, with the pro settings that I got from McCall, is just like, I just love the handling. It's just so simple. I don't know if it's faster. I don't think it will be faster. But I think if you want that was such a beautiful turn right there. You definitely have to slow down for a lot more of the turns, which is a shame. But if you want an experience of like an actual racing car, touring car, I'd recommend this thing. Obviously, if you want the best touring car, you're gonna want the Renault R.S.0.1 and get used to that kind of handling. But this is just like, I am going wide. Again, yeah, you have to brake a lot more, which is a shame. But it makes sense with how much more stiff this handling is. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just stiff. It's like solid handling. This handling is bricked up. And I mean, that's what I mean. It handles like a brick. Okay, let me try and make this. There we go. Like, it's not terrible. But it's not exactly the Renault R.S.0.1. Is it close to Gallardo? I don't know because I haven't used the Gallardo in so long. But if every touring car was this kind of handling, where the cars were actually glued to the road and actually felt like they had the downforce some of their wings and aerodynamics would give them, I'm fine with it. Like, look at that. That feels like a proper racing car instead of the Renault, which is like the Lamborghini Gallardo from Street, but in touring car, you know, which again, I was fine with, but it's nice to have a more by-the-books, suited-up race car. Will I probably still use the Renault? Yes. Am I glad we got this Koenigsegg? So much. I really like this thing. Visually as well, it's stunning. I know that's nothing to do with the video or the handling, but visually, this thing is just a stunning vehicle, and I love this thing. It's very cool. And I think this handling will have a place. I don't know if they want to bring this handling in, because, let's be honest for a moment, they've sort of got their hands a bit busy with the rallycross handling. We've had 3 vehicles. Oh, that's, okay. It's a lot harder to get turns like that in the Renault R.S.0.1 because that thing's out of control. This thing's a lot more sophisticated, so it's a lot nicer to get, like, the perfect race lines. But yeah, they've only added 3 of the rallycross cars with the new handling so far. So I think they've got their hands a bit full right now. I'd rather they fully match out all of rallycross, finish the rallycross spec, and then when they are free, they could consider this, you know. I'd rather that than splitting their attention in 7 different ways. But hey, they are looking for responses, and my comment section is probably going to be one of the places where you lot can put your response. There is also stuff in their official Crew 2 server, which you can join. Just search the Crew 2 Discord server, whatever. But for now, there's my comment section. So let me know what you think of the Koenigsegg CCGT and what you think of its handling and its performance. And remember that it's oh my god, Pro settings have saved this thing for me. Okay, I broke way too late. But yeah, once you get used to the braking and everything, I just love making the perfect race lines in this thing. And it refuses to spin out. I love that. Okay, yeah, sweet. I may try this thing in some PvP and whatnot, but yes. Hope you boys did enjoy. I just want to keep racing. I can't. I just feel like I want to keep racing. Okay, so thank you, boys, for watching. I hope you boys have an amazing rest of your day. Let me actually finish making this video. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you to popular members. A special thank you to famous members. And an insane thank you to Icon member Dustin for the love of life. I'm clicking my knuckles. There we go. That's about it from me in a bit.